The box office numbers for Superman are in, and just like I said late last week on Friday, it was going to open to $125 million. I said that in my title. It is official. It is actually $125 million in the United States. Do not take the yesterday's estimate of 122 million. It actually made $3 million more, and it's actually at the same 125 that I talked about late last week that it was going to earn. Now is the question will then be: is this a good number? Is it a good number? Does James Gunn's new Superman actually translate to success, considering it only opened to 125 million in the US and an extra 95 million internationally? It's currently now at $220 million worldwide. Is that a success for Warner Brothers? I will say this: it's a dicey one. I would say it's in between because everything will boil down to its second weekend hold. It is very important that this film holds well this weekend, this coming weekend. The reason why I say this is that it only has this coming weekend to be the top dog at the box office before Marvel's Fantastic Four makes its debut the following weekend. So this is the only weekend it can build enough momentum to hold its numbers, at least get to a break-even point. Now, let me explain why this number is not the greatest that it could have had. 125 million is decent, but then again, remember that Man of Steel. Now, to be fair, I know people will run into the comments and say this is not actually the correct numbers. Man of Steel did 128 million when the weekend ended, but remember that at that time, I think they had an extra night. It had to like a day before the first 3 days. I think it opened on a Thursday rather than a Thursday night into Friday. So I think it had an extra day. So when they checked all that, it made it almost 4 days rather than 3 days. So when they checked everything, it came to 125 million. But if you took away that first night, Man of Steel at the time, featuring Henry Cavill, made $116 million in its first 3 days. So if we actually look at just those pure 3 day number, it is actually $116 million at the time. So this movie slightly made more than it. But then again, if you adjust for inflation from 116, it comes to almost 140 to 115 million dollars in today's currency. So these are very important numbers that we have to actually cover now. So let's see the breakdown. On Friday, this film earned $56.1 million, and that includes the Thursdays and Tuesday pre-shows. Now Saturdays it did $37.6 million. On Sunday it did 31.3 million dollars. So the weekend is a total of $125 million. Internationally is 95 million for a total of $220 million. Now, if we actually start looking at other projects, it's at least on par with. You have to look at other major projects like Deadpool and Wolverine, Spider-Man Homecoming, and even Thor 4, because the way it's opened is quite similar to those movies, but not on those kind of like grand scale that went up to make $1 billion. But the reality here is that this is a decent opening weekend, but not the greatest it can have. Let me put it this way: if this film fails to get to, I don't know, $450 million come this coming Sunday, if it doesn't even get to 450 million this coming Sunday, then it will struggle to pass $600 million worldwide. Because the coming weekend, it's going to now be going head to head against Fantastic Four, and that is the only problem it will face. The major problem it will face at the box office. when that film makes its debut. Now, if we're looking at the entire top 10 at the box office this past weekend, Jurassic World Rebirth dropped, significantly, but not the worst drop ever. It made $40 million this past weekend for a total of $232.1 million in the United States alone. But if we go internationally right now, Jurassic World Rebirth stands at a total of 529.5 million. That is after 2 weekends. That's quite impressive. It's actually made $297.3 million internationally. So when you add that to the US numbers, it's at 529.5 million. And then if you look at other projects that are still making money in the worldwide box office, it's F1. F1, the movie, made $13 million this past weekend for a total of $136.2 million. Now, F1 internationally is absolutely cooking. It's not yet broken even. This film, they spent $300 million to produce it, but the fact that currently now it stands at a total of $393.4 million is quite impressive. Brad Pitt, I think Brad Pitt's star power is still there. For this guy to still have a film that can easily cross $500 million is quite impressive in this day and age. Now, the film's international numbers is 257.2 million. Now, How to Train Your Dragon made $7.8 million. Now it's at a total of $239.8 million in the US. If you check the international numbers, it has made an extra $321 million internationally for a total of $560.8 million. This movie is slowing down. It's maybe it will get past the $600 million mark. I don't think it's going to get past more than that. If we look at Elio is a massive disaster for Disney. It only made 3.9 million for a total of 63.7 million. Elio is going to lose Disney hundreds of millions of dollars. 28 years later made $2.7 million for a total of 65.7 million in the US. Now, when you add its international numbers of 72.6 million, it has a total of 138.3 million. Elio, on the other hand, if internationally is pathetic, it's only made 53.6 million. It's at a total of 117.3 million. This is how much it's earned. It's a massive disaster for Disney. By any metric you want to look at it. The other films at the box office, the top 10 is Lilo and Stitch. Lilo and Stitch has made $2.7 million for a total of $414 million in the US. If you check the international numbers, it's at 579.7 million. It's now at 994.3 million. So this coming weekend, it will cross $1 billion. I think it will be the first $1 billion hit for this year for the US films, basically. So look, this is the box office rundown for this past weekend. Even Mission Impossible made 1.5 million for a total of $194 million. I'll drop all the necessary rundown of all the films for you guys. If you're interested in checking out the numbers down below, do subscribe to the channel, do like our content. I'll see you guys very much next time.